Hi everyone, we're going to get started. Thank you for joining us today for Safetica's mid-year product roadmap update. We look forward to sharing our latest release innovations with you and reviewing a number of capabilities that'll be coming soon that you can expect in the next few months. My name is Vic Clary, and I'm your host for today's webinar, and I manage product marketing for Safetica. And with me today is Jan Lakatos, who is the Director of Product Management for Safetica. And we're here to share information with you and answer some questions at the end.
Hi, everyone.
So before we get started, I have some housekeeping items for you. You've all been muted on entry. If you have a question, please use the Go to Webinars Questions tab, not the chat tab, but enter your questions in the Questions tab, and we'll do our best to answer them at the end of the webinar, or we'll respond at the after the event by email. So for the sake of time, though, and to get through all of our slides, we'll review all the questions at the end during the Q&A session. And then after the webinar, we'll email you a link to the recording as well as a copy of the slides so you can review them on your own, or if you want to share them with team members who were unable to make this session. All right, so just for a quick agenda here, I'll give a brief Safetica intro, and then I'll give the floor to Jan, who will review the latest capabilities and features we recently released. And he'll also discuss Safetica ONE's end of life coming at the end of the month here. And then he'll wrap up his part of the session talking more about our strategic objectives and what you can expect on the horizon. And then he'll wrap up with, we'll both wrap up with questions and answers at the end. All right, so just for a quick overview of Safetica, for those of you who are new and haven't been with us for very long, we're a global leader in intelligent data security where we've unified DLP, insider risk management, and discovery and compliance into a single solution that's powered by AI, and it's operational across on-prem and cloud environments. And it's designed to help protect your most sensitive data as well as reduce accidental and malicious insider risk, and ensure compliance standards are met as well. So we pride ourselves in the fact that our solution is smooth and simple to integrate, and we have customers of all sizes in 120 different countries. One thing that we're very proud of recently is our recognition as a trailblazer in this year's Radicati's DLP Market Quadrant report. They define trailblazers as vendors who are pushing the boundaries of innovation and disrupting the market with best-in-class technology. So we're thrilled to receive that recognition. It's the third year actually in a row that they've included us as one of the leading vendors in DLP, and we continue to move up and to the right in their quadrant, which is what you want to do, as recognition of our ability to innovate and deliver real-time advanced risk protection, not only affordably but efficiently as well, and in a low-impact manner for businesses. So if you're interested in downloading the report and reading our review, or even just reading about the DLP space in general, that's through Radicati's lens of the market, we have 2 blogs on the site right now that detail the report and include a link to the report download page where you can read more about it. And the link will be included in the PDF of the slides, which we'll email you after the webinar is over. All right, so let's get to what you came for here for Jan and the roadmap. So we've come a long way, as you can see here, since November of 2024 when we first announced intelligent data security, and here we are in June, and we have 52% adoption of intelligent data security, and we're at the point now where 41% of our new customers have chosen Safetica Cloud as their solution, and we're just a few days away now from the end of life of Safetica ONE as well at the end of the quarter. So we've gone through some significant enhancements. So today, Jan's going to review our latest enhancements and then also get into our 3 strategic focus areas at the end: enterprise data security, Safetica AI, and cloud data security, so that you can get a glimpse into what to expect in the near future before we wrap up today. All right, Jan, you want to take it away?
Thanks, Vic. Sure. Hello, everyone. Today I'm coming with updates regarding our product because it's been a couple of months since we've last heard each other. And basically, since November, we've been heavily investing into our intelligent data security concept that we introduced last year. And there have been quite a few new developments throughout the past months. As Vic already mentioned, 52 of our customers are already running the new product and are using the new intelligent data security features that we've introduced a couple of months ago. And we are very happy that our new customers who are joining us on our journey are choosing our cloud version of the product, which we believe is superior. We are also building new capabilities into the cloud version that are enabled by cloud services and cloud hosting. And just as a fun fact, I want to mention that thankfully, this is even more heavily adopted in the US, as we see that 100% of our US customers choose Safetica Cloud. At least this is the case from the past 3 months. And we are very happy about this because we see that the product is relevant, new customers are loving it, and even the cloud version, which we made a lot of effort to build, is getting adopted. And speaking of the cloud version, something that we also introduced this year is our new data center located now in US for our customers on the other side of the globe, where we have a lot of customers already. And you can see that within a couple of months, I believe since February, we've grown our customer base in the US data center to already 30% of our cloud customers, which is great. And again, it's an indicator that there is demand for localized data centers. And together with our colleagues, we are evaluating what new data center locations would be great. So even if US or Europe is not the best solution for you, we are definitely considering adding more data centers as we go forward. And also we can see another trend coming up, which is the size of our customers is growing. We've always wanted to grow it even further. And we can see that the biggest enrollments on the cloud customers that we've done in the past months have doubled actually. And we have lots of growing customers that are either migrating or choosing the cloud deployment, which again just confirms that we've done well on the scalability side of the product, and we are now able to host even our largest customers on cloud. One thing that we've introduced in November is our new Safetica Insights technology. If you've been following us or using the cloud version of the product, this is something you already know, but in case you haven't, I will just recap what insights are, because we've introduced them as a way how to basically propagate our intelligent data security across the product. And insights are there for our administrators and users to actually save time. We want insights to be a consolidation of all the most important events that are detected by Safetica. We try to aggregate all the events that happen either over time or they happen at the same time as a bulk operation into a single event that you can explore and investigate. And even if you see patterns happening across the organization, same things happening across various users or various departments, we try to consolidate them into actionable tasks that the administrator sees. They can quickly investigate these tasks because they are related to each other. And if it's a security event worth exploring, the administrator can do that very easily as a single thing to explore and then close up as the investigation is finished. And again, the goal here is nothing else but saving the time of our customers by creating a finite list of things that the product expects of them. So we don't really want the product to be everything that logs everything in your company. We want the product to serve you really the most important things that you want to explore. And these you will investigate, evaluate, and when you are done, you can move on, because we know that our administrators are overloaded. They often split time between our product and other IT services and efforts. And we want them to really find our product helpful in achieving their jobs. And again, throughout the past months, we've worked a lot on optimizing how our insights work, and we can see an 82% reduction of logs that the administrators need to go through, which is great and helps on a daily basis when you have lots of solutions that are logging everything and you are trying to find the most important things that you want to focus on. So these are Safetica insights in a nutshell. But again, we in the past months, we've invested a lot into insights and their usability. Thanks to all the customers who've been talking to us, because we've been trying to validate how insights are being used, what are the pain points, what are the great things about them. And we've added a lot of new things that help our customers adopt insights. We've included quick close actions that enable you to close up insights fast. You can even bulk edit insights, and you can take care of several insights that you see at the same time, close them up or investigate them. And there are also optimizations that happen for generation of the insights, or there is also a configuration that allows you to actually choose what insights should be generated and what shouldn't be generated, so that you can clean up the list that you see and you can have more control about what is generated as an insight and is worth your attention. And again, thanks to all these things that we've been investing in, we can see a 20% growth of our customers actually closing and processing insights, which helps us again understand how intelligent data security is used in practice. And we can see that the changes we are doing in the product are resonating with our users. But to give you a little closer demonstration of how all these new improvements look, let's take a look at the product directly. And here I have a pre-recorded video that will guide us through how these new improvements are available in the product. So what you can see on the screen is the insights view in the product. And you can see all kinds of different insights listed here that the administrator is trying to explore, maybe go through and investigate. And again, if you click on an insight, you can see a new slide over detail that we've improved for better legibility and to create cross connections with the rest of the product. And again, to quickly close up an insight, I can choose a reason why this insight should be closed. I leave a comment and I can quickly get rid of the insight as a task that was already completed. And again, if I browse further and I come across another interesting insight, there are now new ways how I can navigate across the product, and I can go from one insight into a deeper level for deeper investigation. I can come back again, and for instance, I may evaluate this insight as something that was a false positive. Maybe this was detected and I don't want this detected anymore, and I don't want this to be an insight anymore. Now you have a new setting that allows you to actually go into the configuration of the policy. And at the end of every data policy or any application and web policy, you can now choose whether this policy can or should create an insight. And in this case, I decided this is a false positive and I never want to get insights from this policy again. And with this setting, I closed up the insight that was generated and I adjusted very quickly my policy so that no further insights like this one should be generated again in the future. And then here is an example of a quick close action. If I see something that is not worth my attention and I want to close it up very fast, I can do it with 2 clicks. Or if I want to, for instance, filter all the low severity insights that were detected, just quickly go through them, really pay no attention. I can quickly mark them all and just close them up again with either a custom reasoning or just a pre-defined reasoning that I want to include here. For example, I've investigated all of these, but I found nothing suspicious. And again, with this, I've closed up my insight list and I can move forward with my day or with any other security issue as I need to take care of. And finally, just a little reminder that even in the past months, we've added a capability of sending insights into emails, and I can choose the severity of the insight I'm interested in and have them be sent to me on a real-time basis whenever they are generated into my email address, so that I'm notified and I can come visit the product if I choose to investigate whatever was notified to me. So here, just an example of all the things we are doing to improve usability, to invest more into the intelligent data security functionality we've introduced. But moving forward, there is good news for our on-prem customers too. Insights now are also available for our on-premises customers. we were trying to incorporate all these great usability changes before we make the feature available. And now, along with all the things you could see in the video, all these features will be available for our on-premises customers. There already exists a version that you can update to. It will be generally available in a couple of weeks, but in case you want the version immediately, please let us know and we can share it with you so that you can upgrade your installment and you take advantage of the Insight engine even on-premises. And another great news for not only on-premise customers, but our customers overall, is that we are integrating these new insights with SIEM solutions. And again, why we are doing this, this enables you to interconnect Safetica with the security operations that are already occurring in a company. And CM solutions are there to consolidate all kinds of logs from all kinds of systems, including DLP, hence including Safetica. So again, you can take advantage of this to integrate Safetica with your existing security stack. And from the technical side, this SIEM integration differs from our former SIEM integration. Now it's webhook based to make it more modern, enable two-way communication if it's available in your SIEM. And we've built the integration to be compatible with the open cybersecurity schema framework, which is something that is attempting to unify way how logs are being shared between different systems so they are even more compatible between each other. The SIEM integration is very straightforward. Once you will see this in the product, it becomes a new tile under cloud services where you can quickly integrate your SIEM by entering its server address. If there are some headers or additional values needed, you can add them. They can be either publicly available or some hidden values that carry secrets. And then once you configure this, you test it. If the test connection is actually validated and successfully validated, the SIEM would go into a green state of everything working fine. And from that moment onward, all your insights will be actually forwarded to your SIEM solution as well. Very easy, very straightforward. And this is already available for testing. This is already part of the product. Currently, it's hidden for our customers, but we are testing it with select customers. In case you would like to become one, please contact us at product@safetica.com, and we are very happy to share this with you. This applies to our cloud customers, and for the on-premises customers, this will be coming very, very shortly once we finalize the testing and the final polishing that we are doing at the moment. And moving forward, another great improvement of the product that we've done in the past 2 months is our partnership, or the new technology that this partnership ensured, and it's our Zvelo partnership, which ensured a new web categorization technology. And now our categorization technology of websites is 4 times better than it was before, and we can see a 76% decrease in amount of uncategorized website activity. And since all kinds of solutions are moving to web apps and all kinds of formerly desktop applications are migrating into web applications, we see a great importance in categorizing websites correctly. And now with this new cloud technology, we believe the categorization is much faster, it's much more accurate, and since the uncategorized website activity has decreased, it even requires less admin time and effort to ensure that everything in your environment is properly protected. And again, this is something that was already introduced. If you are our cloud customer, you can take advantage of this technology, and you've been taking advantage of it since April this year. And another area that we tried to invest into regarding intelligent data security is enterprise operations. We saw our customer size growing. We want our customer size growing, and we see demand from our bigger customers from on-prem to migrate into cloud. And due to all these things, we've decided to focus on the operations that you need in enterprise environments. And the 3 kind of topics that we addressed are data destination management, which we identified a big pain point in larger environments, user filtering experience, which was seeing a lot of performance and usability issues in bigger environments. And then we've introduced a lot of admin maintenance improvements that I will list in a couple of minutes. But taking a look at the data destination management, again, we have a little video prepared of all the changes that we've done recently. And even from the static screen that you can see already, we now introduce filters that allow you to filter data destinations. So again, from an infinite list of all kinds of detected destinations, now you can filter the ones you want to focus on. And another thing that we've added here are new types of data destinations. We've added a new type, which is called Cloud Drive, and it enables you to define various SharePoint sites or SharePoint folders or even SharePoints that are used across the company and specify them as something that you want to either protect or you want to block. And another type of data destination which we've added is web categories. So now you can use web categories that already exist, you are already using for categorizing web activity to actually create data destinations out of this. And with this setting that you can see on the screen, it's very easy to set up a great policy to maybe either block or allow upload to social network sites. So again, this coupled with the Zvelo categorization technology is a great tool for you to manage where your data are allowed to go or where they aren't allowed to go. And when you want to set it up for websites specifically, it's very simple. You can use your existing web categories that you are already using in the product, and this can very nicely complement your existing configuration. So this is data destination management, and we hope that all these changes help our enterprise customers to utilize this great maintenance feature even better. And another part that we've improved is the user filtering experience. Again, cloud customers will see nothing new because this has been in the product for the past couple of months and we've been improving it. For on-prem customers, this is something already available, but let's just remind ourselves what this is all about. Formerly, this was our user filter, but now we have a more robust one. And again, in bigger companies, this is very useful because you are able to filter your teams, your users, your devices based on various either parents or domains or other names that you want to use for filtering. And you can combine even selection of various teams, various users, various devices. And again, when you choose a combination like this, you can even resize the model window to fit it better to your screen or utilize the whole screen estate in case you want to browse through your organization. And again, if you've selected the filter, now it's much more clearer to understand what is included in the filter and what's not. Again, this is something that might not be completely new to you, but we believe it will help our big customers a lot by allowing more flexibility into filtering various devices, teams, or users. And finally, just a little reminder that even for administrator maintenance, that is very much part of our product experience, we've added some adjustments to device management. Now there are better troubleshooting capabilities. There are usability improvements in the device section. Now you can, for instance, filter devices by users. For protection exclusions, you are now able to define exceptions that you want to whitelist from our product and define maybe some websites, applications, or external devices that you don't want Safetica to interact with because you consider them secure and you just want to avoid some technical issues. For Mac customers, we've added quite a few things based on feedback we've received. So now our data policies support AirDrop, and you are able to control what kind of data can go through AirDrop and what kind of data cannot. We've improved our web browser support. Now we support also the Edge browser on Mac and the Opera browser on Mac. And we also came back to the endpoint installer that we are using on Mac because it was far, far bigger than what we are using for Windows. And we've shrunk it by 95%. Now the average size of the installer is around 20 megabytes compared to several hundreds of megabytes before. And this ensures better deployment options. Now we download the required installer, either the Intel or the Apple Silicon installer based on whatever the device actually needs. And in the future, this will allow us to do even better deployment things for our Mac devices. And there are also security features that we've added recently. For instance, for our cloud customers, now they can manage partner access and they can decide who has access to their environment, whether they want to leave the partner possible for access, or they want to isolate themselves and only allow specific users that the customer is managing to access the console. And also we've added admin audit trail in case you have lots of administrators interacting with each other in the product. You will be able to see who did what kind of changes, and you can review all the operations in the history. So again, lots of great things added to the product. We hope it makes our intelligent data security product even more intelligent, even more robust, and even more scalable for our enterprise customers. But this is only part of the webinar. The other part of the webinar today is something that is very up to date and very current, and that's our Safetica ONE end of life policy. It comes into effect next week. So we are finalizing support for our Safetica ONE technical version 10 product. And again, there are many reasons why upgrade from this version of the product, because our new version, which we only call Safetica, is much more robust. It is AI powered. It is also modern. We are trying to invest a lot into the usability. It gives you continuous protection. And also there are lots of great pre-built default sets of either policy or configurations that when you are starting out with, it's a much better default set than we previously had. And if you are considering that maybe you are running on on-premise at the moment, but in the future you might want to migrate to cloud, that's all possible with our Safetica product, but not with Safetica ONE. So after the migration to our new version, you will be even compatible with the future migration to cloud if that's something you are evaluating. And again, if you would like to get more details about this, about what the end of life policy means, what are your possibilities, we have lots of articles in our Safetica knowledge base, but we've also trained our partners to give you great answers and great support. So please contact your technology partner if this is something you would like to explore, and I'm sure they will help you understand what the process is, what the possibilities are, and they will help you upgrade to the new product in case you would like to do that. And for Safetica ONE customers, there has been also a little pushback regarding incompatible feature sets. So we've definitely talked a lot with our Safetica ONE customers, and we've tried to identify all the blockers and all the important topics that are either making them hesitant or making them very immune to the upgrade. And we hope that we are reaching a point where lots of these pain points and blockers have been removed. And I would like to introduce some of these and the plan for the others, because these not only help our new customers and our cloud customers, but these are also things that our on-premises customers will really appreciate and might want to give a shot when they are upgrading from the old Safetica ONE product. And the most important topics that we validated are listed on the screen. The first three are already in progress, either exist in the product in some way or will be part of the product very, very soon. And these are the improved contextual DLP support. So we are definitely focusing again on contextual DLP approach, because that's something that we didn't cover in Safetica before, but it was greatly ingrained with our Safetica ONE product. We are also creating a home dashboard that was previously available, but not so much in the new version of the product. And another big thing missing from the Safetica experience was user behavior analysis, which we are now reintroducing in a new form. And we believe that it will also help our former customers migrate from the ONE solution to Safetica. And again, there are other topics that we are tracking. We are trying to address very soon. These are some things like external device management. We are introducing a new data classification library soon that will enable you to use a built-in library of data classifications for you to choose from and complement your existing configuration. We also decided to reintroduce our user-based data classification, because lots of ONE customers identified it as something of a must-have, and they require it before migrating to Safetica. And again, if you are using Safetica and you are not happy with reporting capabilities, thank you for your feedback. We are hearing you, and it's something that we are also planning to address soon. And it's something that we will use to close up all the blockers that we are identifying for Safetica ONE. But coming to the things that are soon coming to the product, the contextual DLP use case coverage. In case you are using contextual approach to classify data, some things were better in Safetica ONE than they are in Safetica. We are aware of that, but we are trying to address it. So first thing that is already addressed in the product is archive support. So again, if you take a file that is labeled sensitive or confidential, and you include it into an archive, or you archive several files like that, now the classification is also propagated to the child archive that's created. Very basic. Now it also works in the product as you would expect. Another thing very soon coming to the product is restriction spreading. Imagine you open a sensitive file and your application, for instance, Microsoft Word or Microsoft Excel, gets restricted. Once you copy something out of that Excel spreadsheet into Notepad, you would also expect Notepad to get restricted. Now this is going to work. So again, this is something that broke while we rebuilt the product, but we are reintroducing it, and it will be very soon in your hands to try and use in the product. And finally, something that is also missing, but we are working on, is spreading of classification. So for instance, if I open a Word file in Microsoft Word and that file is confidential, if I export that file into a PDF, some of you would expect the PDF to also be labeled as confidential or sensitive or whatever the classification was. So now we will make this an option. Again, we've validated this with lots of customers. Some of them preferred to propagate the classification, others preferred not to do that. So this will be an option definitely, but it will be an option after all. And with this, we are ensuring just backwards compatibility with the approaches we were enabling our customers to use in Safetica ONE. And again, the first two things are either available or will be very soon available. Very soon meaning couple of weeks. So really we are speaking about just the release process, transferring the product built to you. And the classification spreading is something we are working on, but we hope to address within the coming weeks, maybe months. Another area that we are covering is the home dashboard. And again, this is something to give you a quick glance at the overall company health status. You can see a little animation to show you a design that we are using to build this. Again, dashboard is coming. We are developing it as I speak, like really during these days and hours, our developers are sitting and actually building this dashboard that you see on the screen. And we would like to use this dashboard as a, the face of the product to really give you smart suggestions about what's needed from the administrator. There will be an overview of all the Safetica security insights that we have. There will be also an overview of data operations, where data are leaving, what kind of data destinations are being used, and how much. And there will be also a part of behavior analysis, where we focus on the users and the activity in the company, not just the data. And we are also including something that we consider very important these days, and that's the AI exposure of the company, to really give you a glance at what kind of AI services or tools are being used in your company, what are the potential data leaks that are happening to these services. So really, these modern tools don't become something that you fear, but you will have an overview of how they are used and what kind of tools are used in your environment. So again, home dashboard, something heavily in development. We hope to make the first version of this available in the coming month or two. But stay tuned in case you would like to talk to us about the dashboard. We are conducting user research, so please feel free to contact us in case you are wondering, or wait a little while and you will see it become part of the product soon. The second part that also relates to this dashboard is user behavioral analytics. Again, this is something our customers loved in Safetica ONE, but found a little underdeveloped in our new product. So we decided to really lean into this and invest a lot. And we want to really build a view where you see user behavior. And you can quickly identify all the risky and non-business activities that are happening. It gives you a consolidated overview of all the activity that's happening in your company regarding application and website use. We also want to make it possible for you to quickly just go through basic user behavior scenarios, things like how much social media are my people consuming, how many job search activities are occurring in my company, and so on and so forth. And also, we want to make it in such a way that when you see a problem in the overview or you want to explore something in a bigger detail, there will be product interactions that allow you to click things and go a level lower to really go deep dive into the data that are available throughout the product. And to give you a better or more concrete idea, here is another example of how the user behavior analysis view looks like. This is the very first version. It gives you a broad overview of all the activity in the company. You are able to quickly filter all the non-business, the suspicious, or other kind of activity. All these various values that you see on the screen are sortable so that you can focus on whatever is needed. Again, you can choose any subset of filters you would like, and then you can even choose additional values that you would like to filter through or sort through. And again, if we go into these column settings, there are lots of interesting columns you might want to use, such as AI tools usage or job search usage, or maybe additional columns that you would find useful. And all these you can use for filtering, sorting. You can build layouts that are compatible with our reports. So you can even create a layout that you want to revisit and have it sent to you as a regular report if that's something what you prefer. And again, combined with the user filter, we could see I can very easily filter out a specific department. I can build a visualization that I like. And then if I want, I can create a very simple layout that I can revisit anytime I find interesting. So again, what you can see on the screen will be the first version. The first version should make it into the product in a couple of weeks. So I believe in July, you will see it in the product for our cloud customers. The on-premises customers will definitely get this too. It just might take a little bit more time because on-premises is a little harder to release than the cloud version, but it's definitely coming. And in case you would like to talk to us about this, again, we are conducting user research and we are very happy to hear your feedback on this too. So these are things that are coming very soon, and I hope I gave you interesting things to look forward to in the new product. But also on the horizon, we are focusing on much more. So these are only things coming very shortly, and let's take a peek at the things that are coming in the long term. And our horizon, we have split into three major areas that we want to focus on strategically. One area is intelligent data security, where we want our customers to adopt it, and we also want our enterprise customers to fully adopt our intelligent data security approaches. The second pillar of our strategy is our AI and our innovation, which is utilizing modern technologies. And again, we want to use these to empower the security teams in companies to use this technology to help them 24/7 with anything they are trying to achieve and basically serve them the incidents that they need to focus on. And the final part that is kind of addressing the pain point of our product overall is to focus more on cloud data, because we are all using more cloud data than we were a year ago, and definitely much more than 5 years ago. So we want to secure cloud data on Microsoft or Google platforms. So yes, we are also focusing on Google, and we want to secure this data against exposure, misuse, or AI leaks. And to give you a little bit more specific area about all these areas, for enterprise data security, what we want to build on is our stronger and more multi-platform endpoint security. And again, this means that we want to create additional things our endpoints are capable to do. So we want to address more data destinations such as Git or FTP channels and so on. We are also working on our cross-endpoint data classification synchronization, which will make it possible to synchronize what my machine classified with another machine of my colleague and another machine of our other colleague, so that we share data classification information across the devices. And there are some couple of other technical endpoint improvements that we are planning. You can read about them on the screen. The second part of our enterprise data security package is actually involving endpoint users into the security operations. We understand our administrators are overwhelmed. They want help, and not only from us, but also from users, to actually help them decide what is a false positive and what is okay. And for this, we are reintroducing user-based data classification that allows users on the machines to actually classify files if that's something you want. And also, we would like to make our endpoint notifications more customizable and more flexible, so that the administrator can rebuild the notification the way they imagine. And hopefully we also will figure out a way how to make the endpoint notifications more interactive, so that it's not just a communication tool, but a two-way communication tool, where also the endpoint user is able to communicate to the administrator a certain information, for example, report a false positive. And finally, enterprise maintenance and operations. That's an unending topic. We will always need to focus on this. And the specific things in this area we want to build on are enhanced reporting. So we definitely know reporting is not the best, and we are trying to invest into this. We also are adding the data classification library that was already mentioned. And we are doing some small management improvements for device and users. So this is the one pillar of our strategy. The second one is our AI technology and the innovation there. And again, the dashboard is something that we are heavily building. It needs to be a smart dashboard, so you could see some suggestions that will be part of the dashboard that will help you interactively see what is the most pressing problem, what you need to address in your company. We also are further optimizing Safetica Insights, and we want to improve the usability of Insights so that we make it smarter, and the administrator needs to spend even less time thinking about insights, and just processing them is the thing that they will need to do. For data destinations, we've introduced some filters, additional data destinations you can configure, but we still think that in large environments, it's a problem to manage this. And we want to create a smart, assistive data destination management that will suggest you things you need to maybe put somewhere, suggest things that maybe should be blocked or should be considered safe. And with this, we will help the administrator to basically manage all new things that are detected but not really configured. And one more thing that we really want to introduce this year is smart data classification technology. And we are very much playing with this. There are some pattern matching prototypes we have. There are some AI models we are playing with. And there is nothing specific I could share at the moment, but definitely this year we would like to create a layer of smart data classification that will make it possible to have data classification configured without too much manual configuration. So that's something that we will talk about later. Stay tuned, but it's something we are very, very much working on. And finally, for cloud data security, again, as I mentioned, Google is definitely in the plans, but first, we are still focused on content scanning for Microsoft 365. As a matter of fact, it's a platform thing that's already finished, but we are testing the performance of it and testing how well it works in practice. Internally, in our own company, we are running this already to test it and see it in real practice. And very soon, we would like to make it available to all our customers who already have Microsoft 365 integrated. And what this will achieve is that we will be able to scan our Microsoft 365 integrated services with our content scanning to see inside the files, inside the emails, and see what is inside and assign appropriate data classification. And finally, Google Workspace is coming. We are doing research, so in case this is interesting, our product managers are happy to talk to you, because we would like to understand the intended use cases and your setup. And we want to start with Google Drive integration, and definitely the area when we want to focus is cloud data at rest coverage. This doesn't mean that Google Mail is not covered. It just means that we will start with Google Drive and we will go forward. But again, we are very happy to hear about your use cases, your ideas, how this should work, and we will incorporate your feedback into the way how this actually takes shape in the product. And this is the part of mine, and I would like to give the word back to Vic for a while, and we'll take a look at your questions. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, that is great stuff, Jan. Thank you for that. It's a great update. And folks, before we get to your questions here, I just wanted to bring up some content that we recently published on our site to give you a few additional resources on the latest threats and what we've learned as some of the recent industry events that we've attended, and some more detail on the latest partnerships, and provide you access to the Radicati DLP report as well, which is the top right link up in the top. So when you get our post-event email, again, there will be a link to this deck, and you can access any of these articles from this slide and read more for yourself. All right, that should be everything. Jan, let's look at some questions here. I know we have a few already, and I'll read a couple off for you here that we already have. So first of all, is Safetica 10 going away completely, or will it still work? Jan, you might be on mute.
So, sorry about that. I've muted myself.
Okay.
Yeah, this always happens at the worst times.
That's right.
So Safetica 10, meaning Safetica ONE, is not going away. It's actually something that will keep working. The end-of-life policy that will take effect only means that we are no longer able to rebuild the product, do technical changes to it, but the product as it is will continue to work. Obviously, we would like our customers to upgrade to the new experience, but if they are happy with the current product, they don't need innovation, they don't need bug fixes, and they have a reason, and we would love to hear about that reason, why they don't or cannot update. Of course, Safetica 10 will be there, you can still use it, and it's up to you to really consider the risks and decide for yourself. If you are hesitant and need help, again, please contact the technological partner of yours, and they will definitely guide you through the process, but the product still will work and nothing will break, I can assure you of that.
It's awesome. So how about for the dashboard here? Will the dashboard be customizable and something we can export?
Yeah, so in the first version, the dashboard will be static, but we already explored the feedback and we know that customizations is important. So in the future, we want to make customization possible. Also related to the reporting, the dashboard at the moment will be just something in the product, but we are working on a way how to make it exportable, make it a possible report. And overall, reporting was mentioned as a focus area in the roadmap. So definitely, if you are looking for more visual reports or more enriched reports than what you currently have in the product, that's something we want to address. Maybe related to the dashboard, maybe not, but definitely customization and reportability of the dashboard is something coming in product.
Great, thank you for that. How about back to the dashboard here. Regarding your user behavior dashboard, will it be possible to set different activity settings?
Cool, that's a good question. So yeah, for user behavior, we definitely evaluate what is suspicious or what is business related. And for the first version, this will be built in. But in the second version that we will introduce shortly, there will be a new configuration that allows you to customize this. And going even further, we would like to make it possible to customize this per different teams or different departments, so that you can specify that a certain department has an activity that is business related, but at the same time, a different department doesn't have this as business related, and it might be something non-business for them. A very plain example is social media, which is always like business related for marketing departments, but not so much for other departments. So this is again something we've never had in the product. We would like to introduce it. We are actually implementing the new user behavior analysis so that it is compatible with this. You will just need to wait until we get there, because there are several steps in our plans, and definitely user behavior is something you will see in the product, and we will continue adding more feature sets to it. Hope that answers the question.
Sounded good to me. Let's see. There's some more here. Do you want to take them from here, Jan?
Yeah, I can see some questions, so maybe I'll choose one now. Is there the new user behavior analysis? Will it include a risk scoring system similar to what Safetica Next had? Yes, for those of you who remember Safetica Next, it was our former cloud-based product, a very simple product, but slightly different from Safetica offerings. And it included the risk scoring. That is something that is definitely coming for our cloud customers. So there will be risk scoring for cloud customers, but there won't be for our on-premise customers. This is a technological thing, so that was the decision. And the reason why you cannot see it in the first version is that it won't be available on-premise, but for our cloud customers, we want to add it afterwards, and definitely there will be a simple risk score that will help you identify how much of a problem a certain user represents or doesn't. So yes, Alex, this is coming. And another question from Alex, if I may, is the new data classification spreading able to handle steganography? This is a question we get sometimes. No, steganography is not covered by the product at the moment, and no, the new data classification spreading doesn't relate to it. So this topic is something we are tracking in feedback. We are hoping to get more inputs or more requests for this, but at the moment, this is not coming, and it is not part of the things mentioned in today's presentation. And okay, there are more questions coming in, so I will need to curate them a bit. So yeah, Daniel is asking about Safetica 10 end of life. The question is, end of life means end of development, and that is clear. What about security patches, vulnerability updates for Safetica 10 after this day? Talking about on-premises, of course. Yeah, this is what end of life actually means. We don't really consider it important after this date to release a new version of the product. So even if there are security patches or security issues detected or vulnerabilities, we cannot guarantee they will be fixed. Again, it's not like we are scrapping our code base on July 1st, but we will need to evaluate very carefully whether we can do any patch anymore. And at certain point, we will definitely get rid of our code base, and it's just the timing issue. So if something arises in the coming weeks, I think we are able to fix it and patch it up. If something arises in a couple of months, maybe this becomes impossible. So again, please take the end of life seriously. It might mean that the security fix won't come, but again, it will be prioritized and it will be decided based on whether we can do it and how much effort it would take. So I hope this answers the question again. Okay. Another question. Is it possible to take screenshot of client or user system? No, that is not possible in our product at the moment. So no, sorry. There are other products meant for user monitoring better than ours. Hope that answers it. Then I can see a question that is more of a technical concern about maybe some stability issues. Please do contact support@safetica.com if you have technical issues with the product. I don't think this is a good platform to discuss technical issues, but I'm sure our colleagues from support team can assist you in case you are running into issues. And okay, more questions coming in. Yeah, another question, very technical one. Sorry, I cannot help you troubleshoot on this webinar. Maybe our support team will be able to better. One more question, maybe the final one to really close up for today. Are there any plans for database classification? Not at the moment. Again, I mentioned that we are working on some smart classification initiatives. There is also pattern matching that we are playing with. So maybe database classification is something in the cards in the future, but nothing immediate that I could announce or that I could talk about in detail. So thanks for the feedback. We are actually tracking this request, but nothing new that I could reveal today. Thanks for the question.
All right, that's great, Jan. Thank you for that. If you didn't ask a question today, you can always provide feedback through our feedback forms as well that are located in the product. So please feel free to give that feedback anytime, or please don't hesitate to reach out directly to the product team as well at product@safetica.com. It's the email that we have listed here on the bottom of the page, and the team will respond to you. So thanks again for joining, everyone. Thanks for the questions. This is great. Keep an eye out for our follow-up email, which will include links to the recording of this session and a link to the slides as well. So have a great day and a great evening. Thank you very much.